The House will come to order, and with no objection, House Rule 6 will be suspended so that the pledge may be led by Myra Anderson and Charles Anderson, Aurora, Colorado. Welcome.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Kohler, please call the roll.
Representatives Arndt. Becker J. Becker K. Representative Casey Becker. Yeah, it's...
Kwani mtu watatu kila siku haita change siku ingine. You know what I just
That's
said?
what I'm saying.
You know what I just said? It's every day. It never changes. Never changes.
Casey Becker excused. Brown. Buck. Buckner. Representative Casey Becker is present. Carver. Conti. Corum. Representative Corum. Court. Danielson. Del Grosso. Dorr. Duran. Esgar. Everett. Representative Everett.
Representative Everett excused.
Fields. Foote. Garnett. Janal. Hamner. Humphrey. Joshi. Kagan. Klingenschmidt. Kraft-Tharp. Landgraf. Representative Landgraf. Lawrence. Lebsock. Lee. Leonard. Lontine. Lundeen. McCann. Melton. Mitch Bush. Moreno. Navarro. Neville. Representative Everett is present. Nordberg. Pabon. Representative Pabon.
Representative Pabon excused.
Pedersen. Primavera. Priola. Rankin. Ransom. Rosenthal. Rupe. Ryden. Same. Salazar. Sias. Singer. Thurlow. Tyler. Van Winkle. Vigil. Willett. Williams. Wilson. Windholes. Winter. Wist. Young. Madam Speaker.
With 64 present, 1 excused, a quorum is present. Representative Leonard. Representative Leonard, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg your pardon. Madam Speaker, I move for the reading.
Representative Leonard, would you give me a minute, please? I need to get order in this very rowdy bunch here. I know we don't always give attention to the well when we're doing the motion on the journal, but it's probably about time we did that. And Representative Leonard, you've done a nice job all week. Keep it up. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the reading of the journal of Wednesday, February 24th, be dispensed with and that it be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk. Thank you.
You have heard the motion that the journal be adopted as corrected by the Chief Clerk. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. No. Motion fails. Would anybody like to reconsider that motion? Otherwise, we'll just divide everybody up, and you can each read for Corey here. Representative Melton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Being on the prevailing side, I move to reconsider the last motion.
Motion is to reconsider the last motion. Is there a objection to reconsidering? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion that the journal be adopted as corrected by the chief clerk, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Okay, that passes. Announcements and introductions. Representative Kraft-Tharp.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, this is the day that we've all been waiting for. It's here today. It is House District 29 Day at the Capitol today, and I want to say welcome to my neighbors and constituents, and thank you so much for coming down to seeing how our legislature works. And second, say hello to the social workers up in the gallery. Thank you.
Representative, that's a $2 fine. Representative Williams.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of the Business Affairs and Labor Committee, we will have 3 bills to hear at 1:30 this afternoon. Look forward to seeing you there. And Madam Speaker, I would like to announce that today is Property and Casualty Insurance Day at the State Capitol. We are glad to have over 250 agents. So if you're in the gallery, stand up and wave and let all of these legislators know that you're here. Welcome and welcome. And so legislators, I would just highly recommend that you try to connect with these insurance agents. They provide property and casualty to your constituents, and they are small business owners. So when they approach you, please listen to them. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
That's a $2 fine, Representative Williams. Representative Van Winkle.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. It is my honor and privilege this morning to introduce to you and the House of Representatives and the millions of people watching on television, the students from Crest Hill Middle School of Highlands Ranch, Colorado. This school is particularly important and close to my heart because I went there. So give them a hand. Their principal is Sid Rundle. Sid. And their teacher is Sonia Herring. We'll be hearing more from them when it comes to the human trafficking resolution. So thank you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Primavera.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to remind the members of the caucus that today we have our Colorado Cancer Caucus, and it will be from 12 to 1:30 in LSBB, and we will provide lunch. And we have a really interesting man who's come. He's going to talk about Survive It, and it's sort of a application for your phones where you can rank your cancer treatment.
Representative Representative Hamner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I need to call down the Capitol Choir because we have a birthday in the House today. So if I could get my fellow singers down here in the well. Uh-oh, looks like it might be a solo today. Oh, here they come. And we have a birthday today. We're celebrating the birthday. He's not even paying attention on this side of the aisle. Representative Kagan. Representative Kagan, happy birthday to you today. And we are going to serenade you with beautiful music this morning. Are we ready, choir? Yes. Oh, wow. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Representative Kagan. Happy birthday to you.
Very nice, very nice.
Representative McCann.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, please listen. Today is Human Trafficking Advocacy Day. Anti-human trafficking advocacy is probably a better way to say it. Day today at the Capitol. There will be some activities going on. There are displays downstairs for you to take a look at, and there will be a press conference today at 12:30 on in the West Foyer. We would love to have you all attend. I want to take a moment to just tell you that although we don't like to talk about this topic, it is alive and well here in Colorado, unfortunately. Between January 2012 and December 2015, there were 260 investigations into sex trafficking, commercial exploitation of children. 102 people were arrested for trafficking and/or pimping-related offenses, and 58 people for patronizing a prostituted child or sex assault. We have been training, over 20,000 people have been trained about human trafficking, and we have several activities in our state, several groups working to combat human trafficking, including the Human Trafficking Council, which was set up by this body when you passed the bill a couple years ago. And I know Representative Nordberg and I have been working on this issue, and he is here he comes. He's been working on a bill this morning, but wanted to make sure he was able to join me up here. We have been able to pass some bills relating to human trafficking, of which we are very proud. And we have been able to continue our fight against human trafficking. Just one further thing, there are 4 key elements that the government and international organizations have declared to be an effective response, to include prevention, protection, prosecution, and partnership. We are doing all of those here in Colorado, and if you look on your desks, you will see a brochure called Not Your Slaves. This was prepared by human trafficking advocates here in Colorado, and we actually have several of them present today. So I am going to recognize the folks here from the Human Trafficking Task Force of Southern Colorado and some other folks that have come with them today, and they are standing here in the gallery. If you all would wave, and can we recognize all the work that they've done on this issue? But we also have a very special group here that Representative Van Winkle introduced, and that is the middle school class from Crest Hill Middle School in Highlands Ranch. I met with them this morning because they have taken on human trafficking as one of their major projects. These are 8th graders, and they are educating the Highlands Ranch community and their school about human trafficking. And they presented me this morning, look at this, colleagues, petitions that they have personally gotten signed by over 2,000 Colorado residents and members of the community in Highlands Ranch. And the principal mentioned they've been shaking up the neighborhoods down there in Highlands Ranch, and I am so proud of them, as is Representative Van Winkle. They have really taken the bull by the horns, and they are letting people know that we will not tolerate human trafficking here in Colorado. So could you all stand, and I think there's some in the gallery as well. Let's recognize them again. Thank you so much for your work on this issue. It is really thrilling to see young people getting involved, and we really appreciate that work. So again, colleagues, there are activities today. Please take a look at your schedule in your booklet, and thank you all so much for your support of these anti-trafficking efforts. Thank you.
Representative Janal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And along those same lines, I want to welcome some school children as well as some parents from Fort Collins for the You Count campaign, A Face to Reframe Life for the Innocent. They're sitting over there watching us and learning what we do here on the floor of the House. So welcome. Let's have a welcome for my Fort Collins folks on anti-trafficking. Thank you.
Representative Janal.
And thank you, Madam Speaker. Just one more comment is Monday is Lobby Day for LGBT people, and so I hope you all will participate in that and look forward to it. Thank you.
Are there further announcements and introductions? Seeing none, the next order of business is third reading, final passage of bills. Members, please take your seats. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1192.
House Bill 1192, Representative Kagan, also Senator Stebbins, concerning non-substantive recodification of the Sunset Review provisions.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1192 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1192 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 64 ayes, 1 no, and no excused, House Bill 1192 is passed. Members, we are in third reading, final passage of bills. Could we please have order? Thank you very much. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 11. Co-sponsors. Please proceed with co-sponsors. Close the machine. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1188.
House Bill 1188 by Representative Rosenthal, also Senator Martinez Humana, concerning requirements for the provision of additional public information by a separate legal entity established by contract by a combination of political subdivisions of the state.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1188 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1188 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 65 ayes, no noes, and no excused, House Bill 1188 is passed. Co-sponsors. Close the machine. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1170.
House Bill 1170 by Representatives Vihil and Quorum, also Senator Sonnenberg and Garcia, concerning the continuation of the Division of Racing Events in the Department of Revenue in connection with implementing Recommendation 1 of the 2015 Sunset Report of the Department of Regulatory Agencies.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1170 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1170 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 48 ayes, 17 noes, and no excused, House Bill 1170 is passed. Co-sponsors. Close the machine. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1193.
House Bill 1193 by Representative Hamner, also Senator Lambert, concerning granting electronic access to court information to attorneys under contract with the Office of the Respondent Parents Council.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1193 on third reading and final passage.
The question is the passage of House Bill 1193 on third reading and final passage. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote. Close the machine. With 64 ayes, 1 no, and no excused, House Bill 1193 is passed. Co-sponsors. Close the machine. The next order of business is general orders, second reading of bills. Representative Williams.
Madam Speaker, I move the House resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of general orders.
You have heard the motion. Seeing no objections, Representative Williams will take the chair.
come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there is a request for reading a bill at length. Committee amendments will not be read unless requested, as they are printed and in your bill folders. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen and on your iPads and not read unless requested. Bills will be laid over upon the motion of the majority leader, and the coat rule is relaxed. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of Senate Bill 31.
Senate Bill 31 by Senator Stebbins, also Representative Dorr, concerning authority of the Director of the Office of Legislative Legal Services to sign vouchers for expenditures of the office.
Representative Dorr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move Senate Bill 31. There is no committee report.
Proceed with the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a very simple bill. We're just giving a signing authority to the Office of Legislative Legal Services, which they do not currently have. It makes it consistent with other legislative services-related offices throughout the Capitol, so that they do not have to come to the chair or vice chair of the particular committee every time they want to have the basic sort of simple things done. And it's a $5,000 authority. I ask for a yes vote.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 31? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 31. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. Senate Bill 31 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 1182.
House Bill 1182 by Representatives Court and Duran, also Senator Cook, concerning the continuation of the Commodity Metals Theft Task Force.
Representative Court.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1182 and the Business Affairs and Labor Committee report. Do you want to say anything?
Proceed to the bill, Representative. Proceed to the committee report, Representative Court.
Thank you. The committee report simply did a few things that I have to look at.
Representative Duran.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, we made some amendments to the bill in committee just to take into consideration some of the stakeholder feedback, and they were minor amendments.
Yeah.
Representative Court.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, we just tightened up the definitions and made sure that law enforcement is encouraged to join in the work with everyone else.
Is there any further discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of the committee report. Those in favor say aye. Any opposed say no. The committee report passes. Representative Duran.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, this is to continue. It's just a sunset bill regarding the Commodity Metals Task Force. Good bill. Vote yes. Hope to get your support.
Representative Court.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For those of you who remember being here during the recession, this became a real issue when people were stealing things from construction sites and foreclosed houses and all. So we created this task force to look into this issue, and this is continuing the task force to do the good work they've been doing. We will appreciate your support. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1182? Representative Brown.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just a couple of questions. You know, we needed this during the recession. What was Dora's response, or did they have anything to do with this? And why do we need to continue this task force? It would seem like that law enforcement should be on top of it, you know. And I was just wondering why we need to continue this task force.
Representative Court.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Representative Brown. A couple of things. First of all, yes, this is a Dora sunset, so they requested this, and they requested that the task force continue. And the unfortunate fact is that commodity metals theft is ongoing. And so being able to be certain that this doesn't negatively impact investors of various kinds in the recycling community, to make certain that everything is above board and that law enforcement is working with those other groups to be certain that this is not an extreme ongoing problem, even though unfortunately commodities metal theft still exists.
Representative Quorum.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Court, I have a question for you. I was the victim of copper theft. It cost me about $250,000. They probably got maybe $2,000 for the copper that they got out of the mine. But it cost $250,000 to make all the repairs because they destroyed all the boxes. They cut a cable this big. They took 40 feet out of it, but I had to replace a half a mile of it. So I was wondering if there's anything in the bill that would compensate a lowly representative for this.
Representative Court.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Corum, there is nothing in the bill that will compensate you, but I promise to compensate you with lots of hugs and kisses.
Representative Rupe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We heard this bill in committee, and it was a very interesting thing. Many of us had the same question, why continue the task force? And in fact, they have found a lot of benefit. It brought the utility companies together, law enforcement together, and a wide variety of resources. And they were comparing notes and what was actually transpiring. They found the need to have a bill, actually a couple of years ago. And they also want to continue to collaborate. It doesn't cost the state anything to continue the task force, and they have found it extremely useful. Actually, this bill is a result of that. They reduced the number of commodities that are included. Instead of all commodities of a certain value and higher, they've reduced it to aluminum and copper, and that's like 99% of the commodities that they're really dealing with. So there has been some value that's come out of this task force, and they wish to continue to work. I ask your support, and an aye vote for the bill.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1182? There being none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1182. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. House Bill 1182 passes. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1284 for 2 bills.
Seeing no objection, the bill will be laid over as requested by the Majority Leader. Mr. Kohler, please read the title to Senate Bill 14.
Senate Bill 14 by Senator Holbert, also Representative Williams, concerning the alignment of state mortgage originator disclosure laws with recent changes in federal law.
Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 16014 and the Business Affairs and Labor Committee report.
To the Business Affairs and Labor Committee report, Representative Williams.
Thank you. Members, the committee report had a technical amendment, and we substituted the words of or to and I ask you for an aye vote.
Is there further discussion on the Business Committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of the Business Committee report. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The Business Committee report is adopted. To the bill, Representative Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, Senate Bill 1614 basically aligns some state mortgage originator disclosure requirements with the federal requirements by repealing the select provisions of the statute and replacing them with cross-references. This bill does not eliminate any protections for consumers. It does not alter any obligations for lenders, and this bill does not enable any sort of predatory lending practices that would harm Coloradans. I ask you for an aye vote.
Is there further discussion on Senate Bill 14? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 14. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Senate Bill 14 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title to Senate Bill 29.
Senate Bill 29 by Senator Shuffle and Heath, also Representatives Duran and Lawrence, concerning changes to Colorado insurance laws necessary to maintain accreditation with the National Association of Insurance Commissioners in connection with adopting a new own risk and solvency assessment law in form substantially similar to NAIC model, enhancing Colorado's insurance holding company system law by adding a requirement NAIC model provisions specifying the insurance commissioner's power to issue subpoenas and examine witnesses.
So close, Mr. Kohler, so close. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 29 and the Business Committee report.
To the Business Committee report. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We did an amendment to ensure that Pinnacle was also under this bill.
Is there further discussion on the Business Committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of the Business Committee report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The Business Committee report is adopted. To the bill. Madam Assistant Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, the bill actually just aligns state language with language in other states. When the original act was put into place, they omitted some language that gave the that would actually bring Colorado into compliance with NAIC model law. So it's just a simple fix to bring us into compliance, and I would ask for an aye vote on this bill.
Is there any further discussion on Senate Bill 29? There being none, the question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 29. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Senate Bill 29 passes. Mr. Kohler, please read the title of House Bill 161284.
House Bill 1284 by Representatives Nordberg and Rain, also Senators Hill and Garcia, concerning divestment of the Public Employees Retirement Association from companies that have economic prohibitions against the State of Israel.
Representative Nordberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1284 and the Business Affairs and Labor Committee report.
Representative Nordberg, to the committee report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In committee, we removed some language from the legislative declaration that passed unanimously and would ask approval of the committee report.
The motion before us is the adoption of the committee report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. The Business Affairs and Labor Committee report passes. To the bill, Representative Nordberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, this measure would require PARA on a biannual basis to make its best effort to identify companies that have economic prohibitions against Israel and in a fiduciarily responsible manner divest from such companies should they not end that prohibition. Israel and Colorado have always had a strong relationship, have always been strong partners. Frequently, governors have been there several times. Governor Hickenlooper was there just recently last year. We have several research and development agreements with the country, several trade agreements, and in the last year alone, we exported over $37 million in commodities to Israel. Simply put, investing in companies that seek to weaken Israel economically and delegitimize them goes against the broad interests of the state of Colorado, and that's what this bill is about. I would respectfully ask for your support.
Representative Marino.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and members, thank you for your time in hearing this bill today. This bill is really about a question of values and what we value in the state of Colorado. Many folks believe that we should never be telling our public retirement system where they should be invested in their money. Generally, I would find that principle true as well. But when companies are engaged in boycotting and divesting and sanctioning one of our greatest allies in a very important part of the world, that does warrant our attention. And so that's what this bill is about. We're not saying people don't have a right to free speech. We're not saying companies don't have a right to engage in BDS, but we also have a right as the state of Colorado and the state of Colorado's elected representatives to say we have a decision to make about investing our money too. And we are not going to invest our dollars in a movement that is designed to delegitimize our greatest partner in the Middle East. And with that, I ask for an aye vote and move Amendment L003. And ask that it be displayed.
The amendment is properly before us and displayed. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, this amendment is pretty simple. There is already federal legislation, a federal requirement that companies in the United States do not boycott our allies. This language is simply providing more clarity to that. So I ask for your aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of L003 to the committee report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. To the bill. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The amendment passes. Representative Moreno.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I move Amendment L011 and ask that it be displayed.
L011 has been properly displayed. Representative Moreno.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, the effect of this amendment is striking the legislative declaration. We were utilizing the legislative declaration as a platform to provide more information about the BDS movement, about why it is harmful, economically harmful to our ally Israel. Yet, with anything, there are differing opinions about language, and the true intent of this bill is about para divesting from companies that are harming one of our allies. And so in order to be true to that intent, we are striking the legislative declaration through this amendment, and I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any further discussion on L011? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of L011 to the bill. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The amendment passes. That's it. Representative Moreno. You're done? Okay. If there's no further discussion, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1284. Representative Leonard.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's what you get for being new. Members, I rise in opposition on this bill, although I appreciate the last amendment, which did a major strike through. I think a bill like this just entangles our state in foreign affairs. It not only singles out a specific country, but it actually singles out enemies of another country. And as we saw by the First Amendment, it so entangles us that we have to watch boycott laws from one ally to another ally, lest one ally is boycotting another ally. And it has us meddle in the affairs of a conflict that's 5,000 years old. I'm glad there's language was struck about the resolution of that, but it also, worse than just meddling, it directs PARA to be able to participate in that. It directs PARA's investments to compromise itself on weighing risk and return, is what an investment advisor should do, to suddenly hiring investigative folks, maybe to the tune of $100,000. That might be an exaggeration, but spending time and resources actually looking into political affairs of different countries and different companies inside different countries. That's a misdirection of what PARA ought to be doing. But worse than that, it directs PARA to start writing letters to companies that are going to cause political consequences. They have to wait 180 days and then start in with some divestiture. And then worse than that, it doesn't even put the full weight of this resolution for PARA because it limits this activity to just 0.5%. And then it excludes all Colorado companies. So if in fact the philosophical intent is to shame those who shame those, it doesn't even do that because it excludes folks in Colorado. Lastly, this is different than the Sudan proposal that it is attached to, because Sudan, the issue there was targeting military companies that were involved in military activities in a specific country. This one is far more meddling and entangling. This is looking at enemies of an ally. And so it's far different than what we did for Sudan. So I would respectfully ask for a no vote.
Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1284? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of House Bill 1284. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. House Bill 1284 passes. Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
You've heard the motion. Seeing no objection, the committee will rise and report.
The House will come back to order. Mr. Kohler, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Madam Speaker, Committee of the Whole begs legal report is under consideration following attached bills being second reading thereof and makes following recommendations thereon. House Bills 1182 amended, 1284 amended, passed on second reading in order gross place on counter for third and final passage. Senate Bills 14 amended, 29 amended, 31 passed on second reading in order revised place on counter for third and final passage.
Representative Williams. You've heard the motion. There are amendments on the desk. Mr. Kohler, please read the Leonard amendment to the Committee of the Whole.
Representative Leonard moved to amend the report of the Committee of the Whole to reverse the action taken by the committee in adopting House Bill 1284 to show that House Bill 1284 as amended lost.
Representative Leonard.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the Leonard amendment to report of the Committee of the Whole.
The amendment is properly displayed. Please proceed, Representative Leonard.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Without discounting that every American and every Coloradan has a soft spot for his or her favorite country, we ought not be distracted from the business of our state and meddle into foreign affairs. Because what is next? Are we going to boycott Hungary for building a fence to keep refugees out? Or boycott Croatia for not building a fence to keep refugees out? Or boycott Scotland for not succeeding from England? And the list goes on and on. I would suggest that this bill should have been in the form of a resolution and not involve PARA and PARA's additional meddling into foreign affairs. And I would urge that we follow George Washington's advice of not entangling ourselves into the foreign affairs of others. And so therefore, I would urge a yes vote on this amendment. Thank you.
Representative Moreno, Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I ask for a no vote on the Leonard amendment to the Committee of the Whole. I will not rehash arguments that we had during second reading other than to say this is a question of values for the state of Colorado and whether or not we should be investing in companies that are boycotting our biggest ally in the Middle East. And so for that reason, I ask for a no vote on this Cow amendment.
Is there further discussion? Representative Norberg.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I echo Representative Moreno's comments. And I'll state again what I put in my opening statement, that simply put, investing in companies that seek to weaken Israel and delegitimize them from the international community is wrong, and the state of Colorado should not condone it. And I'd ask for a no vote on this amendment.
Is there further discussion on the Leonard amendment to the Committee of the Whole? Seeing none, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote on the amendment. Close the machine. With 4 ayes, 61 noes, and no excused, the Leonard Amendment to House Bill 1284 is lost. We are now back to the Committee of the Whole report. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Kohler, please open the machine and members proceed to vote on the adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole. Close the machine. With 64 ayes, 1 no, and no excused, the report of the Committee of the Whole is adopted. The next order of business is announcements and introductions. Representative Court.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Finance Committee members and Representatives Moreno and Tyler, just a heads up that we are going to have a presentation about fiscal notes at the very beginning of our meeting. So we won't get to our 2 bills for a little while, but based on Representative Priola's request, we are having folks come to talk about fiscal notes and the process in their preparation. So just that heads up. So let's try to get over there by 10:15 so we can get all our work done. Thank you.
Representative McCann.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. A couple of announcements. Colleagues, today the Colorado Health Institute is hosting a lunch and learn today at noon in the Senate Committee Room 356. It's called Colorado's Big Health Bets, What's Paying Off. So it'll be a really interesting discussion today of what's going on in our Colorado. They're going to discuss the financial sustainability of the marketplace, rising insurance costs, the uninsured rate, and the implication of our decision to expand Medicaid. So it should be a very interesting discussion today at lunch, and lunch will be provided to those who appear. Also, members of Health Insurance and Environment, we are meeting in room 271 today at 1:30. We did reverse the order of the bills, so we'll be hearing House Bill 1195 first and then 1164. And just one final reminder, colleagues, please take a look at this booklet that's on your desks this morning. There's a lot of really good information in it, which was put together by the Human Trafficking Task Force of Southern Colorado. It also has the schedule for today of activities. And finally, the students who are here from Crestline Middle School gave me a red bracelet, which stands for the the Red Thread movement, which is fighting human trafficking and providing funding for rescued Nepalese girls who have been trafficked. So I encourage you to take a look at the Red Thread movement. It's redthreadmovement.org, and you may be able to purchase one of these and help save those young girls in Nepal. So again, hope you'll join us for the press conference today at 12:30 on the west steps of the foyer. Thank you.
Representative Williams.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of the Business Affairs and Labor Committee, we will have a change in order at 1:30. We will hear House Bill 16-1232 first, then 1197, and then 1211. And members, I also want to welcome the group of students here from the Odyssey School. They are not in the gala yet, to my knowledge, but just wanted to make sure everyone knew they were here, and we welcome them to the state capitol. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Lebsack.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Local Government Committee worked late last night, and so the chairwoman was wise in making sure that we didn't have anything on the calendar today, and so the Local Government Committee is not going to be meeting today.
Are there other announcements and introductions? The Speaker has one sponsor change made for House Bill 1182. Senator Heath will be added as a co-prime sponsor with Senator Cook. Are there further announcements and introductions? Seeing none, Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the House stand in recess until later today at 1:30 p.m.
The motion is to recess until later today at 1:30 p.m. Seeing no objections, so ordered. We are in recess.